Hello, welcome back. As you guys can see for the title, today we're doing a vanity desk drawer tour. I updated all of these drawers and you guys were interested to see what I did with these two sets of drawers here. I ended up eliminating basically a whole entire storage unit, but I did do something a little bit different with it, so I'm going to share with that you guys as well. But I still, at the end of the day, ended up with one complete solid empty storage unit. I'm not planning on adding any makeup to it. It actually houses anything to do with like backup sponges, obviously beauty sponges, my little poof things, any type of packaging that I'm trying to keep or want to keep, that sort of thing. That's what's in there, extra brushes. So I don't have that storage unit and I'm trying not to use it for anything else. So anyway, you guys are here to see what's in the drawers. I'm not going to talk about what's up here. It's the same thing. Hi, how are you? You see me in my apron. It's the same thing that I've had all of, my two cleared things. I'm not going to go through the top of my vanity. It's just necessarily the drawers. And don't mind all this right here. This is like my garbage, my empty bag. And back there is, I keep all of my kids like leftover school supply stuff. I keep it under my desk because if not, these children will lose them, destroy them, and then I won't have anything for next year. And then obviously that's my rubbing alcohol on the bottom. So anyway, that's what we're here to see, is these drawers. So if you're interested, let's move on. Okay guys, so this is the left side drawer of my vanity. This is the only drawer that is constantly being shifted, moved, and doesn't necessarily have a specific permanent housing of stuff. So here are any palettes that I am intending or wanting to use, any of my Pan Those eyeshadow palettes, anything that I am testing out for you guys or are in any project pans. This is where I keep everything because this way I can open this drawer up and know to use them. This is just a single that I'm just trying to hit pan on. A highlighter. I'm rotating obviously a single for my project pan, and then these obviously are my Pan Those face palettes. So this drawer gets opened up every day. This drawer does not look the same every month depending on what my project pans are or what palette or face product I'm focusing on. So this is the top drawer and this was always ever changing. Okay, so this drawer right here houses all of my small palettes, quads, quints, palettes of 6 eyeshadows, anything that's tiny that'll get lost in the big 9 Alex drawers housed here. So I have all of my Nabla Cutie palettes. I have all of my Dose of Colors. These are my Lorac. These are my ones that I got from the drugstore earlier this month. My Fiona Styles ones. Back here, I just have old school colored rain ones that I really enjoy. Some Menagerie that you can't get anymore, unfortunately. Those were some of the good ones. This is just a quad that I made of some singles that I like to reach for if I don't have these kind of transition shades in palettes. Some of my quads that I like to keep, that I use all the time. And then these are double-ended brushes that I just keep here because I don't want them to get ruined in with the rest of my brushes, and that way I can reach for those as well. So that's what's in this drawer, and it always stays this way. I don't buy quads or anything small often, so this drawer doesn't really get, as you guys can see, it's very spacious because I just don't reach for these as often. Okay, next drawer is strictly ColourPop. This is all of my ColourPop eyeshadow palettes. Now, bear in mind, I've been buying ColourPop since they first started, only with Super Shock shadows. My very first eyeshadow palette from ColourPop was actually not something I purchased myself. It was actually a gift, and then it opened up a gateway. It opened it up for me to purchase a ton of eyeshadow palettes from ColourPop, but this is one of those few brands where it's affordable. I don't buy everything, and a lot of these were gifted to me, but some of these I did purchase on my own. I don't buy every single release, as you guys know, but these are some of the old school ones. Like these are the little 9-pan ones. I have some of the larger ones over here. So this is where I keep all of mine except for the large ones. The large ones are kept elsewhere because they wouldn't fit here, but this is just strictly ColourPop palettes, and I keep them close to me because that way I can control this. And because I put it this way, I'm not buying as much as I used to, but I do reach for these quite a bit. As you guys can see in a lot of project pans, I try to reach for a lot of these ColourPop, because overall, even though ColourPop is fast fashion, I get it. But if I'm going to choose a fast fashion, I'd rather choose one that's made in the USA, that has good quality eyeshadow palettes, and I love their color story. So, and they're not that expensive. So if I'm going to support a fast fashion, it would be ColourPop. It's the reality of it, just letting you know. So here's the first out of 2 drawers that are my face palettes. I moved them from that other 6 drawer Alex container thing, I don't know what you want to call it, storage unit, to this. I wanted to keep my face palettes close to me, and I do have some back here. I know, you guys, I'm sorry. I do have some back here. There, so you guys can see I do keep some back here as well, all my Anastasia. So this is drawer number 1. The funny thing is that when I first started getting face palettes, I always had 2 drawers of this size in the Alex 9 drawers. And even so, years later, I'm still at 2 drawers and they're not maxed out, which I appreciate. You guys know I'm not buying as many face palettes as I used to, but I still love them. I still love them and I still use them. You guys know I love to pan them. I have no problem, and these are great to travel with. So this is some of them, and I'm not going to go into detail. I know some of you guys are probably like, I want you to open up. You guys, this would be 3 hours long if I did this. This is just an overview of how I'm storing my makeup. And here's the second drawer of them. These are more like smaller ones. My Benefit ones are all the way in the back over there. But these are just more of my smaller palettes that I do have. Some that are duos up there that I keep those there because they are 2 different kind of products for my face. It's not just like all highlighters or all blushes. It's different. So this is my second drawer, and they both, as you guys can see, have space. So I'm not feeling overwhelmed, which is good. I know to some this may seem like a lot, but to me, it's always what I had, and I really love them. Okay, let's move on to the other side of my drawers. As you guys, like I mentioned, this is just an overview of my drawers, not detailed. This is the drawer that I pull out every single day with the other top drawer that I shared with you guys that's always ever changing. This one's all of my complexion products, all of my everyday products. So I try to keep my powders here and the cream bronzer that I'm using. All of my concealers fit here perfectly fine. Corrector is right there. A primer that I'm typically using. This houses all of the mascaras that I'm either currently using, eyeliners, brow products. So this is what this drawer is about. This is all of my setting sprays, and then this is you guys know this is from PR that was sent to me. I keep it in here because it doesn't fit back here, which houses all the primers that I now have as gifts. So, and any leftover, like I have my brow products and I'm not currently using in there as well because I'm trying to finish off what I have here. So this drawer gets opened up every single day. This is where I reach for most of my stuff. My foundations always stay on top of my vanity over there. And they're all kept in their boxes so then they can be preserved longer, since I do have windows in the front, even though the sun does not directly hit this room. Okay, so this drawer houses all of like my liquid stuff. As you guys can see, I keep these all in here to keep them preserved. So these are all of my liquid eyeliners, pencil eyeliners, my Q-tips, my Durline. These are all of my cream blushes now, you guys. Apparently I'm getting more for my birthday from what I've heard. So this is just half of them. Yeah, I had 3. I started this year with 3, and then I got a bunch of them for Christmas, gift with purchases. I didn't buy any of these with the exception of these 2. These 2 I already had, plus this one. So I only had these 3, and now I am going to be overwhelmed with a bunch, but you know what? I'm happy. I'm content. Thank you very much for those that are getting them for me. What am I going to say? No, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. I'm appreciative. So this is where I house them all. And then back here, it's just leftover tools. These are the rubber bands that I use to hang my brushes when I'm washing them. Same over here. My fan that I have in here that's falling apart. All right, so this is my fan that I fan myself with. I got it on Amazon like years ago. I mean, like, this is one of the first purchases I've had. I've had that fan for years. Extra sharpeners back here, tools kind of thing. So this only gets opened up when I am wearing these. Like, I'm currently wearing this cream bronzer. I'm trying to finish this one up. You guys, look at that pan. I love this. This is like definitely one of my top favorite, if not my top favorite, besides NARS. NARS and MAC are my favorite cream and liquid blushes formulas because they do last on my skin and they work well on top of powder. So I'll tell you guys about these because I'm testing them out. And then obviously I have eye primers in here. So that's this drawer. Okay, so this drawer houses my bronzers, my loose blushes, which you can see these are the loose blushes, powders. Is that it? And then some leftover are like some carryover of blushes. So in here, there's quite a bit, but I know what's in here. So this whole front row here is all the bronzers. They were able to fit perfectly fine. Powders are all the way up to here. And then these are just leftover blushes that didn't fit in the blush drawer. And then I decided to put all of my powders, all the rest of my loose powders, and anything that's loose on this side of the drawer. So loose blushes and loose highlighters are here. So this has blushes, bronzers, and powders in here, and they all fit fine. As you guys can see, it's not like overbearing where they're on top of each other. I can see exactly what I have, and I'm intending to keep it this way. I don't buy blushes often, bronzers or highlight like powder, so you guys know that this is going to be this, but I was able to fit everything in here, which I'm happy about. So these are all of my blushes. All of my blushes were able to fit this way. As you guys can see, I did not use any storage units because this was the best way for me to store them without them being um overflowing or on top of each other. So I obviously put them in by packaging. So all of my square ones are all here. All of it continues here, and then all of my round ones finished off over here. They obviously go all the way further back here, but you guys can get the idea of how I stored them. So this is strictly blush. I don't buy blush often. I do have a little bit of space like right on the end over there, but I'm trying not to fill it up with stuff. I'm being real good with this stuff. I've been good for years. I'm trying to stay that way. Let's try to stay that way. And the last drawer here, as you guys can see, are all highlighters. And the highlighters, believe it or not, looks a little bit more messy, but I have far less highlighters than I do blushes. It's just that I laid down some. Like as you guys can see, I laid some of these down here, and these smaller ones were harder to sit up. So that's why it looks a little bit messy on the end over there. But this is all highlighters. So I did the squares, 2 rows of them, and then all my round ones, and then all the odd or mini size ones went all the way over here just because I didn't know where else to put them. So highlighters, this is all my highlighters, and I have far less than I do of blushes. I think blushes is the one I still have the most of. As much as I try, it's just, it is what it is. It takes forever to finish a blush for me. Highlighter, not so much because I can do it all over the body, but it is what it is. But I'm happy that these all fit in here without me, as you guys can see, they're not on top of each other where I can't see or really search for one that I want. So it worked out fine, and I was able to empty out my drawers. Okay, so this is the drawers that I emptied out. But what I decided to do was, in my closet, I kept all of my like pigments, loose pigments, pressed pigments, glitter, that kind of stuff, with all of my cream stuff. So anything that was a single potted item that went on my eyes was always in my closet. What I decided to do was anything that was not cream or liquid, I put them in these drawers instead. So the only thing that's left in my closet that is makeup is anything that's cream or liquid, in a tube, in a pot, in a wand, however you want to put it. If it's a cream or liquid, it stayed in my closet because that's the best place to preserve them since there's no windows. I don't have to worry about vents. I don't have to worry about exposure to light and dry them up. So I was able to bring these down. Now, these I was able to space out a little bit. So prep yourselves if you like anything glittery, shiny, metallic-y, colorful. This is where I house everything now. So this was completely empty, but now I have brought things out of my closet to here. 2 reasons. One, I don't reach for them often because they've always been in my closet. So I figured, let me bring these out. And 2, because I know that these can be used or can be kept here without going bad. That's why I ended up bringing them out here. If I know that we're going to go bad, I didn't bring it out here. So let's get started on the top drawer. So who doesn't love a good pigment? These are all of my pressed pigments, you guys. Look at this. Well, as soon as I set this all up, it was just like eye candy. This is a candy store to me. This is beautiful to me, and I'm so happy I was able to store them all here. Every single pressed pigment I own, or loose, whatever it's in these containers, fit here, you guys. You guys can see I have an array from Urban Decay, MAC. I have some Elise. I have some Hourglass. These are JCat, BH Cosmetics that are no longer made. I have Flower Beauty, Tarte. These are from Ciate, old school ones. These back here are all of my Marc Jacob ones that I had, the sequence ones. Never getting rid of those. Those, if he brings them back, I'm getting more colors. I cannot believe that these were discontinued, you guys. These are all of my Bodyography ones. And then these are my Moira ones over here. So this is just so pretty to see. I just opened this drawer just to smile, you guys. I'm having a bad day. This is the drawer I opened just to smile. Now this drawer houses all of my loose pigments. My my Makeup Geek, some Her Mannerisms, my Sydney Grace are all over there. I have some, oh my goodness, what are the Inglot? These are Dose of Colors, Alexa Persico, Concrete Minerals. These are the Bomb ones. They don't make those anymore. These are from Ardency Inn. They don't make those anymore either. Sugar Pill Pigments. So you get the idea. These are all my pigments, and I do have space in here. I do have a ton of pigments. If you're new, the very first makeup item I ever purchased, ever put on my eyes for years were loose pigments. Loose pigments. So for me, loose pigments are not a hassle, are not a lot of work. They're second nature to me. I love them. They're very versatile. They last a long time. So they've always been my best friend. I didn't get into eyeshadow pans until years later, but I started out with pigments when I was 18 and I still love them. So this is just drawer number 1 of pigments. I'm starting to feel those judgy eyes on me. Settle down, settle down. I know. This is drawer number 2 of loose pigments as well as pressed pigments. So here's my array of stuff. These are all of my Bare Minerals. That's the first brand I ever started with makeup was Bare Minerals. So this is all Bare Minerals over here. MAC. MAC used to do limited edition collections, you guys. And then remember these old school large ones? I still have a few. These are all ColourPop MAC pressed pigments of different collections. The smaller ones, the bigger ones, I haven't seen them do these big ones in a while. And these are all of my L'Oreal Infallible that I still love and use. These have stayed, like they've gone through everything and they have lasted so long. A lot of these were limited edition and I hunted them down and I still use them and love them. These stand the test of time. There's things that have come out now that cost 3 times the amount, and these are they're still amazing, still love them. I have them and I'm not going to let them go. Not going to let them go. Okay, so this drawer houses all of my single shadows, singles and duos. So anything that is in a single or duo is this. I don't buy these often, and if I do, it has to be a really good one. Kat Von D, these over here are still awesome. Still stand the test of time. Cargo are right here. These are Essence that are no longer made. These are from Gain Beauty. Absolutely love them. Dose of Colors, L'Oreal, Clinique, L'Oreal, Natasha, Denona. These are highlighters from Gain Beauty, but I use them as eyeshadow toppers. I love them more that way. Then we have NARS singles, a Bobbi Brown, more Clinique duos, more singles from NARS, duos from NARS, and duos from Stila. So this is where I keep all of my singles. Okay, so this drawer is all glitter. It's very empty, as you guys can see. And I did put these little like cushions in here because 1, I didn't want glitter everywhere. I'd rather have it on that cushion. And 2, it prevents it from rolling because I don't have much glitter. These are all the glitters that I have. And I haven't bought some in years. If I've gotten any new ones, it has been through gift with purchases. So as you guys can see out of these are, what are these from? Oh goodness. These used to be Artist Couture, right when he first started. These were the Artist Couture ones. These are all Sydney Grace, NYX, Makeup Forever, more NYX, MAC, and all these are Makeup Forever. In here, I also keep all of my ColourPop ones. So all 3 of these are filled with all the ColourPop glitters, and I keep them all in these 3 pre-made Z palettes. So then that way they stay out of, because sometimes those glitters leak into the palettes and I don't like that. So I keep them in there. So then that way they are separate. If they choose to leak, they're leaking in there. Sometimes you'll notice that with certain brands that the glitters or certain shadows will leak. And I've noticed that with these, so I don't want to ruin the palette. So that's this drawer. It's very empty and I'm not intending on filling it with much. Last but not least, these are all of my depotted single blushes, highlighters, and one bronzer. There's not many bronzers, you guys. So you have Too Faced, Makeup Geek, Tarte, Sydney Grace, Looksy Beauty. I think that's it as far as, oh, and ColourPop. Those are all the brands that you'll see in here, and I have them all housed by color stories. So I have like the peachy color stories, the pinky color stories, all straight highlighters, darker version, lighter version. These are beautiful. And if you're wondering about these Z palettes here, they're called the Solutions by Artbin. I got these at Joann's Fabrics. These are meant to be used for keeping your needles, your scissors, all those little trinkets, like your little thumb thing that you use, all the sewing kit stuff. This is a metal, metallic, what is it? Magnetic. My goodness, I can't talk. A magnetic thing, and you're supposed to keep them, but I love them because they're domed. But here, these are domed, as you guys can see. These I depotted. These are the Too Faced ones, and they're domed and they fit in here. This wouldn't fit in a regular Z palette if I had that. So this is why I like these, because I can use those for these. And I have quite a bit of these, and they were not that expensive. I think they were like, I'm talking almost 10 years ago I bought these. Before Z palettes were a thing. I kid you not. Before Z palettes were infamous on YouTube, these I found on Joann's Fabrics, and I bought a ton of these. So I have quite a bit, and I still have some that are emptied out. These are those MAC Nutcracker Nutcracker, the dark and the light version, and then this is a Kevin Aquan one that I keep in here as well, because they don't fit in the other ones. Like, I like to keep these separate. So that's it, you guys. Alrighty, friends, I'm keeping it real. Look at my mess of stuff on the sides. Yep, I still have to clean up. These are boxes that I gotten for my birthday. Actually, that big box is full of gift with purchases that I purchased something for Mr. Man for Father's Day, and then the beginning gift with purchase that was that big, yes. So I have to go through that. But anyway, that is all that I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is how I rearranged my room now as far as those type of categories. I don't want to add more, so I tried to condense and try to really compact the drawers, so then it deters me from buying so much. If I have more space in my mind, I'm like, oh, I could buy more and fill it up, and I'm trying not to do that. So this is why I condensed everything as best as I could to not layer on top of each other. So that's all that I have for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. More videos on the screen for your enjoyment. Until then, peace out.